Betty Boop's Trial is a Fleischer Studios Betty Boop cartoon from 1934. This is directed by Dave Fleischer and Myron Waldman, and we have a voice cast including Jack Mercer and Mae Questel. In general, I didn't mind it. There were some good bits, but I also didn't love some aspects of it, so there will be spoilers, as usual, with my Betty Boop discussions as I explain what happens in this one. And it starts off with Betty Boop driving along, and this police officer tries to flirt with her. But Betty Boop's not interested, so she drives off, and angered by the rejection, the police officer gives chase, catches her, takes her to court. The rest of it plays out in the courtroom, which I love. I love courtroom dramas. I love courtroom scenes. I think the animation there is really brilliant. And it's actually a musical after that point, which I wasn't expecting. And we have some pretty good music. I thought it was a fun way to tell the story. So I really enjoyed that part of it. And in general, I thought the musical aspect worked really, really well. We have some really lovely animation. We initially, before we get to that point, have some interesting dialogue between Betty Boop and the police officer, and in general I enjoyed most of this. Decent concept, reasonably well executed, nice cast of characters, really nice animation, decent music. But there are a few elements that I didn't like. And the first one is the unnecessary use of what was obviously meant to be blackface. There's a point when the police officer is driving behind Betty Boop and the exhaust or whatever it is, I don't drive, I don't know what I'm talking about, but the exhaust from her car covers the police officer's face, and when that happens, he then gets the very stereotypical exaggerated features as if they were going for a brief blackface gag, which was just unnecessary. I know it's a product of its time, but even still, it just felt a little bit pointless. And then I didn't like the ending. I didn't think it was satisfying, and that's unusual for a Betty Boop cartoon. While I can't say for certain, I can't think of any where I've not liked the ending. There may be some, but it's certainly very rare if it's happened before. So I wasn't really happy with Betty Boop going off with a police officer. It didn't work very well for me. So in general, I thought Betty Boop's Trial was a good cartoon. We had some nice animation. I liked the musical aspect, the overarching concept. Not too bad, and a police officer earlier on. But there certainly were a few things here and there that I just didn't really love. So in general, not the worst, but at the same time, there are things that could have been done differently or not at all to make it a better experience. That being said, if you're a Betty Boop fan, then Betty Boop's Trial is still one that's worth watching.